Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here for the unveiling of a new historical marker honoring the life and one of its early, unsung, and relatively unknown civic leaders, Ludwig Mahncke. I want to express on behalf of my wife, Marinita Dittmar Calvert, his great-granddaughter, and our family, my sincere thanks and appreciation to those people without whose dedicated assistance this marker would not be here. First, to Sandy Jenkins of the San Antonio Parks Department, who has been so helpful in the location and the installation of the marker, and with what you're seeing here in this setup of the chairs and things. Next, Ms. Virginia Nicholas, a very old friend whom I've had the pleasure of renewing an acquaintance. She's the chair of the Bexar County Historical Commission, as you know, who guided our application for the marker approval through its board and then on to the Texas Historical Commission in Austin. It gave the final approval of the wording and the production of the marker itself. Finally, the lady most responsible for our being here today, Mrs. Mariah Watson Pfeiffer. Her experience and expertise in past applications guided our suggestions for marker wording to the Historical Commission, and once approved, did much follow-up work with various local organizations who would be interested. Thank you, Mariah, for all you've done in the past 2 years to make today's affair a reality. Virginia Nicholas will read the inscription which appears on the historical marker a few minutes from now. In a limited number of words allowed by its size, it gives the highlights of Ludwig Mahncke's contribution to San Antonio. I would like to provide some additional information which helps to give a more complete picture of his life and activities, and some of what I'm going to say is duplicated on the marker. Mahncke was born on April 20th, 1846 in Mecklenburg, Germany, a province which is located in the northern part of the country along the Baltic Sea, across and south of Denmark. His obituary of March 27th, 1906 said in part, "When a young man, he was in the liquor business, but failing fortune forced him to leave Germany in 1881. He came from an initial landing in New York City to Mexico when the national railway lines were being built, and became a cook with a party of road builders. While there, he had a violent quarrel with an aggressive road builder in camp, and in the trouble that ensued, he picked up a bone from a leg of beef that had just been slaughtered and struck the Mexican over the head with it. Knowing what chances he had to receive justice at that time in the hands of the Mexicans, and thinking he had killed the man, he fled to Texas. He arrived in San Antonio in 1882, unquote. He established himself in business, and his wife, Katerina, and 2 daughters followed soon from Germany. The first identified mention of Mahncke appeared in the San Antonio Free Press on June 24th, 1883. It quotes, "The Mission Garden in the 4th Ward at 315 South Alamo Street was opened under new management, that of Mr. Ludwig Mahncke last night, and the new host treated liberally to refreshments, both fluid and substantial." Quote, "It is likely that Mahncke formed friendships at Mission Garden that led to his personal involvement in politics. In 1886, Mahncke and Dr. Lesher Trexler assumed management of the Vance House, a venerable and popular hotel at the corner of Houston and St. Mary Streets, which they renovated and renamed the Mahncke Hotel. He moved his family to live there. His partnership with Dr. Trexler was dissolved in 1893, and Mahncke continued to operate the hotel. It is and now and has been the Gunter Hotel since 1909. The Mahncke Hotel was described as, quote, airy, comfortable, and clean. It has all the modern conveniences. Its table is bountifully supplied with everything in season and everything first class. Its rates are particularly reasonable, and its management is attentive to its guests," unquote. The hotel was reported to be one of the best known in this part of the Southwest. Meals which Mahncke supervised could be sumptuous, as shown from a dinner menu for insurance agents in 1894. It included Blue Point oysters, bouillon, quail, venison, tenderloin of beef, potatoes, cauliflower, mushrooms, truffle sauce, chicken salad, and lettuce and herring salad, coffee, champagne, wines, and cigars.
Wow.
Mahncke's work as a local hotelier and restaurateur, as well as his jovial personality, made him a popular figure in business and social circles. When the newspaper suggested that a state organization of fat men be organized called a Corpulent Club, Mahncke professed a willingness to become a member if the men of his girth would have enough weight in the community to get the sidewalks widened so that two club members could walk abreast. Unfortunately, the club foundered and the sidewalks remained narrow. Ludwig was charmed with the San Antonio plazas, but disturbed over their ill-kept condition. Without saying a word to anyone, he assumed responsibility for that portion of community life. He took hotel gardeners all over the city, planting, grooming, and cleaning those places where a vacant lot and greenery could be made into a pleasant spot. Mahncke was appointed alderman in 1896 to supervise a rapidly growing park system. He was the first salaried park commissioner in 1901, though he had been functioning as park commissioner since 1896. A brief note in the Light newspaper on February 19, 1900 stated, quote, Alderman Mahncke provides the city prisoners who work for him in the parks with free chewing tobacco. The historical marker here refers to Mahncke's work on the San Antonio River, particularly the River Bend area. It is worth repeating that under his direction, cypress saplings from the Guadalupe River were planted along the San Antonio River, where they have grown into the huge trees which add so much to the beauty of the Riverwalk. A family note records his purchase from a man in Fredericksburg of about 100 saplings for 50 cents each. Ludwig's daughter, Anna Mahncke, and Mrs. Joseph Deutsch, my wife's grandmother, gave this fountain to the city of San Antonio in memory of her father on June 15, 1964. In a brief ceremony here, Mayor Walter W. McAllister said in part, quote, Mr. Mahncke was instrumental in persuading the Waterworks Company through its president, George W. Brackenridge, in December 1899, to give to the city a beautiful 199-acre tract of woodland near the head of the San Antonio River, which became the world-famous Brackenridge Park. By persuading Brackenridge to donate this land to the city, Mahncke, more than anyone other than Brackenridge himself, is responsible for the existence of Brackenridge Park. Not only the land, but also the Rhodes Park system, which has remained virtually unchanged. That fact should be remembered by all who use and enjoy what is there today. Responsibility for the park's development fell to Mahncke, who had the full support of his close friend, George Brackenridge. It was decided that the park should be a driving park more than a picnic park. He designed and opened 7 miles of roads that all converged on the river at the north end of the park. The last road to be completed in December 1902 followed the river channel. By 1902, Mahncke had established a fenced deer preserve in the park and was building enclosures for buffalo and elk. These animals pastured along River Avenue, which is now Broadway, near today's Lions Field Clubhouse, were fed from hay raised in the park. By early 1906, there were 6 buffalo, 19 elk, 43 deer, plus various birds, swan, geese, turkey, pheasants, and guineas. This menagerie was moved about 1915 when the new zoological organization opened in the old rock quarry area. Now, this is not the zoo itself. I believe was not open until 1928. I could be off on the date there, but it was not the original zoo. All of Ludwig Mahncke's work was important to the citizens of San Antonio, but it was the Brackenridge project that attracted national attention. George Wharton James of Boston, editor of the magazine Arena, wrote in 1907, Brackenridge Park is the most magnificent piece of parking in the United States that has come under my observation. It cannot be improved. You now have woodland that is unsurpassed, traversed by excellent driveways, into which it is a boon to plunge for an hour or two to relieve the fatiguing monotony of city life, unquote. James argued against a designed landscape of exact proportions, extolling the virtues of a more natural area. George James' accolade was unfortunately written after Mahncke's death, after a 2-week bout with pneumonia on March 27, 1906. His funeral was, quote, one of the largest